Thanks for joining us for City Council Comments. I'm Steve Erickson along with Mayor Jerry Cook. Today we're talking about both the Tuesday, May 5th and Tuesday, May 19th City Council meetings. Thanks for being here today.
I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, we're back in studio after still got our social distancing here, but we were via Zoom last time for our last City Council Comments. So good to be back here talking about our two meetings in May. Things are slowly starting to reopen here, and as far as city operations are concerned, City Hall is back open to the public.
Correct. Yeah, it was kind of a soft open without any fanfare. The doors were unlocked, but it was important because it was the 18th of May, and filings for candidates opened on Tuesday the 19th. So the City Hall really needed to be open to encourage people to come in and file for seats. So it opened on the 18th, and it's been going well. They've been making some adjustments as they, react to human nature, how people respond to things.
Yeah.
Lots of plexiglass dividers and.
Yeah. And people are still being asked if you don't need to come to City Hall, if you can do a transaction online or interact with staff via the phone, still do that. But if you do need to come in for business, you're more than welcome to do that. Yep. The recycling center reopened in the last couple weeks on a limited basis. Right now, as of the taping, they've been doing Tuesdays and Fridays from 10 to 3, and there's been a pent-up demand for that.
Yeah, there was a lot of demand. I mean, I probably got as many notes and calls about that as anything else we have.
Yeah.
When's the recycling center going to open? Yep. And so Colleen did a great job. They did a great job over there figuring out how to make things touchless, and there unfortunately isn't any paper shredding going on because it's just too close. But there is a shredding event coming up. Is it maybe, I don't remember which Saturday it is.
It's the first Saturday in June. I want to say the 6th.
Well, and that would make sense because this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. It wouldn't be this weekend. Yeah, so probably the first Saturday of June. They're having a shredding event in the morning.
And that's at City Hall.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be at City Hall. They'll be doing like a drive through the parking lot. You leave your paper in your trunk or pop your trunk, and staff will pull it out. So it's contactless, but people will like to come to that.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I just saw the sign at Public Works, so it didn't even dawn on me that it'd be somewhere else. But,
yes.
Okay.
Yep. That has changed. So recycling center, they could be changing their services as well and hours of operation. So just check out the city's website for the latest information on hours and availability. There, we still aren't sure as far as when our ice center will reopen, correct? Or the splash pad this summer, if that will happen.
We haven't gotten the rules on public accommodations, such as the ice center. We really want the splash pad to open, but we really want people to be safe. So we're trying to figure out how that timing is going to be. Right now, we feel as though the DNR is not allowing that to be open. So we're going to be, in a typical year, it would have opened this weekend. So the opening will just be a little delayed.
Okay. And we'll talk about some more events because some of our city stuff is being impacted this summer, but we'll get to that a little bit later here in the show. For now, let's talk about our two meetings and the items on those agendas, starting with our May 19th meeting. One of the first items there was declaring National Public Works Week, and unfortunately, this is another event that was kind of taken by COVID.
Yeah, and it was kind of bad. We annually recognize our public works staff, our public works in general. And there's always that little comment that goes back a few years ago to the resolution where they were referenced as the cornerstone of the foundation of. Oh, now I've lost it. It's the cornerstone of humanity or something.
Okay.
At any rate, but we do acknowledge their significance. I mean, it would keep the water flowing, the streets going, the parks nice. I mean, it's literally. The impact about every aspect of our residents in Coon Rapids. And annually we have a big public works open house, and it's so much fun. Yeah. For the families and the kids to get down there and see all the equipment, and so many residents go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize what it takes to make a city go. And unfortunately, you're right, that was the victim of COVID, so that would have been last week. Yeah. But at any rate, this was our lifting up our public works.
Yeah, honors the workers and all the work they do on an annual basis, and it is a lot of different work. Sometimes but it takes to get the water, the streets, all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's almost a game when you go through the public works open house, going, I don't even know what that thing does.
Yeah.
What is that?
Right. Right. But we need people to do that.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right. Moving forward, Council considered and approved and adopted a resolution accepting a grant. This is from the Office of Justice Programs. This is from the U.S. Department of Justice. It seems to be we get some money annually through this grant program.
Yeah, for various things, and this year was a little bit different. This was part of we declared an emergency in Coon Rapids back in March for the COVID. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that allows us to do is to recoup some of the funds for expenses that we wouldn't ordinarily have. And so this was a grant for $39,711, and it was to fund protective eyewear, N95 respirator masks, mobile display laptops for command staff, and additional personal protective equipment for future use. So it's all things related to COVID. Mm-hmm. So just helps us be better prepared.
Yeah, and getting that grant money is always good because money we don't have to expend at the local level here.
Right. Yeah. For example, one of the things was, as the police chief mentioned, it was a laptop for his car. Mm-hmm. He normally wouldn't have the laptop in his car, but now this allows him to respond to something if he needs to, right from his residence. So,
yeah. That's great. All right, Council adopted an ordinance amending the city code. This relates to the Civil Service Commission. This is a bit of a change here from what we've normally done in years past, correct?
Yeah. So the Civil Service Commission has been in service for, I guess, probably as long as we've been a charter city. I'm not sure. Yeah. And they've always been part of the interview process and the promotion process, basically the hiring process for police and fire. And while it still works well for us for fire, police, because our fire crews kind of come through paid on call, and then they come to paid full time, or full time. Our police, it's a little bit different deal. We're hiring community service officers. We are trying to hire, when we need to hire police officers, the Civil Service Commission doesn't operate quickly enough, and we're afraid we're losing some good candidates. So there's still going to be, it's now the Fire Civil Service Commission or whatever the title is, but it's just not handling the police department stuff anymore. It doesn't eliminate any of the oversight of the police department. If anybody has any complaints about the police, right, it's still the same channels. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't eliminate any oversight.
Okay. Because did those complaints used to come to the Civil Service Commission?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think they would always go to the police chief.
Okay.
However, it was a clarification that was offered at the council meeting was for folks to understand that they weren't losing anything with this going away.
Right, and the city manager is still involved at some level as well,
right,
I understand.
Yep,
or human resources too.
Yep. So. Yep. Well, and it's really, there's so many rules that HR applies anyway, yeah, that this wasn't necessary to deal with the police.
Okay. That's all the items from our May 19th meeting. We had a fairly short, less than a half an hour meeting, actually.
It was a short meeting.
We had a little longer on our first meeting of the month, which was on May 5th. One of the first items there, you read proclamations declaring Poppy Day related to the American Legion and the VFW.
Yep, annually, and it's always fun, when they come in, come into the council chambers, we bring them up, we recognize them, they give everybody on the council and the staff poppies, and it's a time to recognize, the service, and I'm almost down to that page, I'm sure.
Lots of paper.
Yep, yeah, so, yeah, so it was too bad that it was a Zoom meeting, so we weren't able to be in the same room. But if I can, the poppies are to recognize the. They have this beautiful line that they read. That's part of the proclamation.
I could try to find it here for you.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. Oh well. So at any rate, acknowledging the great work that they do. And unfortunately, they're not going to be able to be out distributing them like they would normally in normal other years. And it's really fun because they do. They literally just give them away, and then anybody that feels like contributing, that money goes to help the veterans. So it's all a good cause.
Yeah, this says that the memorial poppy is assembled by disabled veterans, pays respectful tribute to those killed in war, and also benefits the living veterans and their families.
There you go.
And then public donations for poppies fund rehabilitation programs within each local community that benefits veterans, their families, and ultimately our state and nation.
Perfect.
Does that cover some of it?
I have nothing to add to that.
And we're not sure if they were able to even still sell poppies, right?
Yeah, and they don't sell poppies. They give poppies away.
Okay.
Yeah, they give them away,
For a
and then
donate.
if
wanna
somebody
donate.
wants to donate,
Okay.
then that's obviously I would encourage that. I don't know if they can encourage it.
Yeah.
But then any funds that are donated go to help the veterans.
Yeah, that's great. All right, moving forward, Council adopted two resolutions, well, several actually, 4 when you look at it, relating to street reconstruction. This is awarding of contracts and adopting the assessments for this summer's street reconstruction.
Yeah.
We can't go by without a summer without street reconstruction, right?
Well, we wouldn't want to. We would get way behind
Right,
on our.
right.
Right now, we're trying to keep up. We had a couple bad years with seal coating that destroyed the top layer of a few different streets in town. So we've been trying to patch those and get to those, but otherwise we're pretty well caught up with our street reconstruction. I'm sorry, Steve. Are you on item 3, or what are you on?
We are on 3 and 4.
We're on 3 and 4. Okay. Yeah, so awarding contract and adopting assessments for street reconstruction. Yeah, item 3, that project 20-1, that's 16 different streets. And everybody that's involved with this received notice from the city. There's already been one open house. I don't know how they plan to do the next ones, because normally they would go out to a park near the construction site to introduce the residents to the contractors and get everybody up to speed. And I think everybody should just check the city engineering website for information. There's some great videos on there to inform them how the process goes. Pay attention, because depending on if they're doing anything with your water, you might not have water in a day or two.
Right.
So pay attention to what's going on.
All right, so we have those streets, and then the other project was about 2.1 miles of street.
Yep.
And 0.2 miles of local street. So quite a bit. We're not doing quite as much as we'd been doing in recent years this year, correct?
Correct.
We had been doing kind of some catch up and on street reconstruction, and we're kind of doing...
It feels as though we've caught up.
And back to maybe a more normal level of street reconstruction.
Yeah, and one of those in Project 3, or Project 4, I think Project 4, was way overdue, and that was that street up by Riverdale Crossing, by the Walmart and Cub up there. It was in terrible shape, and we kicked the reconstruction of it back a year or two, trying to get a roundabout up there, and we were unable to come to terms on it. So they're gonna make it safer. They're gonna do better use of turn lanes, but they're gonna get it done this year anyway.
Yeah, that's good news. We also have another resolution considering an emergency mill and overlay. This is repairs on Avocet Street. This sounds like a street that was in disrepair.
This was in tough shape.
Yeah.
The upside of it being in tough shape is it slows the cars down a little bit.
Yeah.
For those that don't know where this is in the Wexford neighborhood, north of Main Street.
Yeah.
And for those that have been around Coon Rapids for a while, we know this is the old Minnesota dragways.
Yeah.
And if you ever look at an old aerial, it literally overlays Avocet Street.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's why the cars have trouble going slow or what, but
There you go. Maybe that could very well be.
yeah. But the street reconstruction was actually just completed yesterday.
Okay.
And so it's going to be this beautifully paved, smooth, glorious street, and now they're going to have trouble again with people driving too fast, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the road was in terrible shape, and we can go in and do a mill and overlay for less than $150,000, which is just a fabulous buy.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to last 8 to 10 years. So,
All right. So that's getting done. I was just driving in Andover the other day, and I don't know if you've been up there by the Quick Trip. I think it's J Street, but in the last couple of months, that street is like pothole city. And they got in there at some point. I hadn't been there for a little bit, and it's all smooth again. So
oh, nice.
They got the project done in Andover. So
Yeah, this was the first time we had done this was Xavier Street that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
It was Xavier Street last year.
Yeah.
And again, it was less than $150,000, and it just changed that whole neighborhood. It's just beautiful.
Yep.
So I think it's a very good buy.
All right. Well, while we're on the topic of streets, let's talk about these resolutions. Several of them, 5 resolutions, designating additional municipal state aid streets. What's the purpose of this?
Yeah. So Coon Rapids, based on its population and its street mileage, there's a percentage of streets that can be designated Minnesota State aid roads. And if they are designated such, then we actually receive some financial assistance from gas tax to take care of the streets.
Yep.
And so it's in the best advantage of Coon Rapids or the best. It's good.
Yeah. Yes.
to list any streets that can be eligible as state aid, so we can get some financial assistance when they need to be reconstructed. So we went through a map and figured out what streets already were and what streets weren't yet, and what would make some sense.
Okay.
So we designated 111th Avenue from Mississippi Boulevard to Coon Rapids Boulevard. That's that section right down by the Coon Rapids College, Coon Rapids Community College, Anoka Ramsey Community College.
Yeah.
I think it runs up by the Ice Center, comes out at the stoplights. 115th Avenue and Raven Street to Hanson, which is the road by the middle school between Cub and the high school. Direct River Drive from Mississippi Boulevard to Coon Rapids Boulevard, and Flintwood Street, 121st up to Main Street. Okay. So nobody will notice anything different on them if they were ever reconstructed. Technically, you're supposed to make some sections non-parking, and they're a little bit different standard, but we'll see when we get to that.
So that'll help us in future years then.
Yep.
With some of the aid.
Yep.
All right. Well, while we're talking about construction, I do notice they're still moving ahead now on Hanson Boulevard. Folks have been out there with the project north of Highway 10. There's a lot of activity there, putting in curbs and stuff. And I also heard on the bridge they've been doing some more work down there.
Oh, they've been going crazy. Yeah, it's funny because of where we each travel, you're probably doing that north section, and I'm doing that bridge all the time.
Right.
But I was up.
We can share updates.
Yeah, there you go. But I did both yesterday.
Yeah.
And they're going to town. The Hanson Bridge, their plan was to be done by July, and I've got to believe they're ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
They are really rolling on it. They were putting down the second layer of asphalt yesterday.
Yeah.
They've just about got the barriers done, and the sidewalks are in, and it's looking really nice.
I assume when I drive over that, it's still bumpy. Like, that's eventually going to be a different kind of ride once it is totally done.
Yeah. That's just the first layer, and the first layer went on in inopportune times, and it went on rough.
Okay.
Yeah, and it always surprises me that it's still posted at 40 miles an hour. Yeah. I mean, I'm going across that bridge like 15 miles an hour because you're right next to construction trucks and people working.
Right.
And you're going, why did that sign say 40?
And then there's like 10 cars lined up behind you.
Yep. I will lead that parade. I'm fine with that because it's just way too close up there over that bridge.
Well, yeah, and like you said, because the first layer is not perfect, it is pretty bumpy when you still travel over that bridge.
Yep.
So I'll be looking forward to a nice, smooth ride once that project gets done here. We think this summer, right? By July?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't smooth right now.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, they were laying that second layer of asphalt yesterday in the right lane that you're not driving on yet.
Yeah.
So I would anticipate, soon.
All right. Well, good to see that moving forward. You alluded to it a little earlier. Filings for public office opened this week, and we have several seats on the city council that are up for re-election this year.
Yep. So we have the Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 4, and then our councilor at large. Yep. So four seats.
Yep.
And they come up every 4 years, and then in the alternating 4 years. So every 2 years we have an election. The other two, then it's Ward 3, 5, and Mayor, I think it is.
Yeah. So that goes for 2 weeks here up until June 2nd, I believe it is, by 5 o'clock or something that day is a deadline for filing. So if you are interested in filing for one of those seats, you can find out more online, visit City Hall.
Yep.
And
And you can go to the Secretary of State's website for information. You can see who's filed. Yeah. There's packets of information there. Our city clerk has all the information. She'd be happy to help anybody that's interested in filing. And so.
All right. Now back to a little discussion about the pandemic and how that is impacting our lives here. Unfortunately, the decision had to be made to cancel this year's 4th of July celebration. There was a big kind of outpouring on social media with people with obviously different opinions of that, but unfortunately, that's where we stand at this point. That celebration is canceled this year.
Yeah, so there's a very large group of, and it's such a cross section of organizations. I mean, it's the Coon Rapids North Star Lions, it's the Coon Rapids Fire Relief Association, Coon Rapids Fire, Coon Rapids Police. You know, it's really led by the Lions and the Fire Relief Association, but it doesn't happen unless it has tremendous support from the city of Coon Rapids. Right. And so these meetings it's a full room, and there was no one that could see a path forward to where this could happen. You know, not with the rate that things are getting turned up, so to speak, on the dials.
Right.
We didn't see a path where the dial was going to be large, tens of thousands of people at a community event in July already. And rather than invest all kinds of money and additional time into an event that isn't going to happen, it was just, we had to pull the plug.
Yeah. So now we have 2021 hopefully to look forward to here.
Right. Well, yeah, and even, you know, and part of that is the fireworks. I mean, we have a tremendous amount of fireworks, but we also at the same time spent about $45,000 on that fireworks, and the funding for that comes from our Twin City Gateway Visitors Bureau, our Community Strength Foundation, our pull tab gambling proceeds. All of those are dried up. You know, Twin City Gateway Visitors Bureau is not going to do any community grants this year. So that's, you know, $20,000. Right. I can't imagine we've had any pull tab sales. Right. So for us to have the event, the money won't be there for next year. So I don't know, or to do the fireworks, I should say. Yeah. Plus, there's no way of doing the fireworks without setting up all of the safety barriers, and
and how do you socially distance people? Because people are still going to come and watch if you do that.
It was not, the decision was not taken lightly by anyone. Everybody loves that event. We all enjoy it. Yeah. We just didn't see a path forward for it. Yeah.
All right, getting on to some other summer events. Basically, when you kind of look at things here, a lot of the first half of summer has been canceled to about mid-July, but we are going to have Summer in the City meetings, tentatively as of this day, going forward, and also a couple concerts at the Coon Rapids Dam, hopefully.
So that's what we're hoping. We're really hoping. You know, technically summer hasn't been canceled. I was out checking out Lions Coon Creek Park, and the kids are out there playing. Yeah. You know, people are out enjoying the parks and the trails, and I've seen more people walking, and it's really funny because the cars that are out, you know, everybody's friendly now, waving, smiling. Yeah.
That's good. So as of right now, our first Summer in the City meeting will happen on Tuesday, July 14th from 6:30 to 8 at Prospect Park, and then the next one is scheduled Tuesday, July 28th at Lions Coon Creek Park. Again, this is as of this moment. That could change, but as of right now, that's the plan for Summer in the City meetings. And then our concert series at the Dam is supposed to kick off July 23rd with the authorities, and they plan to have about 3 concerts down there as of this time.
That's what we hope. Yeah, and the meetings in the park may end up getting shuffled because if the park seems too small or would be difficult to set up with social distancing, we might move to a different park. Lions Coon Creek Park it's a little concerning there because that's going to probably be a very popular.
Yeah, especially just being redone, and we kind of want to showcase that.
Yeah, so then you're going to be concerned with all of a sudden, we have too many people here. So all right. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and again, all this information the city's been updating on the website, so log on to the city's website for the very latest as far as any date changes, event cancellations, events being moved. The list goes on. While I have it, I did find that paper shredding event we were talking about.
Okay.
It is Saturday, June 6th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at City Hall.
Okay.
New location for the event, it says. Watch for directional signs. Cars will enter on 111th Avenue, this says, and then exit back out onto Robinson Drive. Due to high demand, it says residents are limited to 3 boxes per vehicle. You're supposed to place your boxes in your trunk and stay in your vehicle when you arrive. Volunteers will then unload the boxes, requiring no contact with drivers.
Okay.
So in light of people wanting paper shredding now, which is not currently available at the recycling center due to restrictions, come to this event Saturday, June 6th at City Hall, 9 to 1.
Yeah.
Or until the trucks are filled.
Or until the trucks are filled, right? Yeah, not necessarily until 1.
Yeah, being at a popular event, then get there early. It sounds like.
And the fact that we haven't offered any shredding for quite a while, it might be quite popular.
Yeah. All right. One other thing we want to mention too, another summer event that's very popular with our neighborhoods is Night to Unite. That has already been postponed and moved to October.
Yep. Yeah, you really hope for nice weather then. October is
no early snowstorm.
I thought, oh my gosh, October. Yeah.
I mean, October 6th, we're talking, the first Tuesday in October.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's still nice.
Yeah, hope so.
All right.
Oh, and I know the other event we were talking about was the farmers market.
Yes, and that's July 15th is their first date.
Did you mention it?
No.
Okay.
That's next on my list.
The way you were looking at me, I thought,
No.
I missed it.
Nope, you're right on there. And we think that's they normally kind of open sometime after the 4th of July.
Yeah, it seems about right. I mean, it seems like they have to harvest something to bring to the market, I would think.
Yeah, as I understand it, there's no special event days this year like Senior Day or Kids Day, but the market will still be open Wednesdays starting July 15th from 3 to 6 p.m., and that's in the parking lot of the Coon Rapids Ice Center.
Okay.
All right. And then you also want to talk about the event we've had on Coon Rapids Boulevard lately.
Yeah, interesting. Coon Rapids Saturday Night Cruise.
Yeah.
And it's just been a wonderful thing for people to be able to get out on Saturday night. Some people are struggling a little bit with the social distancing, but the car clubs have been sending out the right messages. No more than 10 in a group, socially distance. And they're really encouraging everybody to stay lawful when they're cruising, and our police have been out cruising with them. Yeah. And if they witness anything that's unlawful, they're stopping and if necessary, issuing tickets. Okay. So I guess if you haven't gone out and experienced it, I would encourage you to get out there and just check it out. I mean, it's depending on the weather. Now, the last 2 Saturday nights, it's kind of rained out.
Right.
But if the weather is nice, the last time the weather was nice, there must have been 1,000 cars out there.
Yeah.
Somebody had taken a picture and they had 982 images posted, and I was just going through, and I didn't see it start over again. So it tells me there must have been over 1,000 cars there.
Yeah, it's big crowds. We were out there, did a story on it a couple weeks ago, and people seem to be enjoying it. But like I said, slow down to some of those cars and keep everything going here good.
Yep.
And we'll soon also have, with the governor's order this week, outdoor dining is allowed starting June 1st. So we would still encourage people to patronize our local businesses as much as possible. And, they need our support right now.
Oh, they really do. I mean, there's so many things they're battling. They thought they would be back to inside dining.
Right. Limited
inside dining. And they were already trying to figure out how are we going to make it, because this is not a big margin. Yeah. So when you're dealing with 50% or 25% occupancy, but now it's outside only, well, several of them don't have any outdoor.
Right.
So we've let them know we are willing to work with you, whatever we have to do to help you. If you can see some path to success, let us know. So we're just waiting for our restaurants to see what they come up with here.
Yeah, a lot of them are waiting too, just to see what happens here. But more on that as it develops. So.
Yep, a lot of frustration.
Right. Yeah. Anything else that you want to add?
Oh, I don't know what it would be. I think we're moving along, and same. Nope, I think it's going.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for being here in studio with me. Thank you for watching at home, and we'll see you back here after our 2 meetings in June.